The number of people illegally entering Canada after reaching safe spaces like upstate New York continues to increase under Justin Trudeau. Now, this comes as no surprise to any of you because we know that Justin Trudeau, instead of closing the loophole in the Safe Third Country Agreement, as I've been calling for the last several years, instead of doing that, he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars on things like putting people up in hotels, transporting them around the country, paying for social programs, expediting work permits. Instead of trying to restore order back to our asylum system, he is essentially making this a permanent situation by refusing to close the loophole, which is causing this problem to begin with. Now, I'm coming to you from a little antechamber here in the House of Commons because Parliament resumed sitting today, and this was the first opportunity we've had in many months to question the government on its failures this summer. Now, what was very interesting to me was that their talking points were not updated whatsoever. Now, during the summer, the Conservative Party came out with several key policy initiatives that we believe will actually stop this particular issue and restore order and fairness to Canada's immigration system. So watch what happens when I ask his Minister of Nothing, Bill Blair, who has had several months now to, refresh the talking point binder at the very least, but in all seriousness, do something to stop this problem. Watch what happens when I ask him these very simple questions.
Mr. Speaker, the minister has gotten up and talked about the hundreds of millions of dollars that this government has spent on illegal border crossers. Yet, from January and August in 2017, the numbers were 13,221. January to August this year, it was 14,125. The problem is getting worse. There's only one way this is going to get solved. That's by closing the loophole in the Safe Third Country Agreement. Right. Has the minister done anything of import, like asking the Americans to close the loophole in this agreement?
Honourable Minister of Border Security.
Mr. Speaker, as the Minister for Border Security, I have been tasked with leading the engagement with the United States on the Safe Third Country Agreement. To that end, I have communicated with Secretary Nielsen and asked that government to engage with us on this important issue. There have been some discussions to date, and that will continue.
Honourable Member. The Honourable Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
I'll summarize that as no. Mr. Speaker, the member for Scarwood-Gilwood said the following: people who have come to the conclusion that these people, illegal border crossers, are not refugees and they should be returned sooner rather than later. A Conservative government would close the loophole in the Safe Third Country Agreement and remove those expeditiously who do not have a legal reason to be in Canada. Mr. Speaker, that's very simple. It's what Canadians want. That is a Canadian thing to ask for. When will this government close the loophole in the Safe Third Country Agreement?
Honourable Minister of Border Security.
Mr. Speaker, Canada has a long tradition and proud tradition of providing protection to those who need it most by providing refuge to the world's most vulnerable people. And at the same time, we must ensure the security of our communities and the integrity of our border. The Immigration and Refugee Protection Act requires the ongoing review of all designated third countries to ensure that the conditions that led to their designation continue. And as I have already indicated, I have reached out to Secretary Nielsen to discuss issues related to irregular migration and the shared border, including ways in which we might enhance the Safe Third Country Agreement.
So those answers were less than satisfactory. But in all seriousness, think about this. This guy has been on the job for several months now. The Prime Minister has had an immigration minister, a public safety minister, and himself not do anything on this file for 2 years. We have been, as the Conservative Party, demanding that the government close the loophole in the agreement since as long as this has been a problem for. So at this point in time, I just want to reemphasize what I said in those questions. First of all, Conservative government in 2019 would close the loophole in the Safe Third Country Agreement. We would ensure that it would apply to the entire Canadian-US border so that people that illegally enter the country don't have the right to make an asylum claim here, as they currently don't at an official point of entry. The other thing that we would do is ensure that people who don't have legal reasons to be in the country would be removed. We know that from data that was reported in the Globe and Mail, for the very, very few percentage of people who have illegally crossed the border into Canada and had removals orders issued, in the last 2 years. And it's a very small amount. I think it's around 1% or less of the total people that have come in have actually had their deportation orders issued and removed. Like, that's not acceptable. A Conservative government would ensure that those who do not have legal reason to be in Canada would be removed from the country. Look, the government has to start getting serious about this. But at this point in time, I am not certain that Justin Trudeau has any intention whatsoever of restoring fairness to our immigration system. In fact, it's the opposite. I can't accept the fact that the government's first response in question period is we've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this, and then the problem got worse. Like, it's some sort of badge of honor. That erodes confidence in Canada's immigration system, and I'm being very mild about that. But it's also a poor use of taxpayer dollars, and it's not fair. It's not fair to anyone. It's not fair to the Canadian taxpayer. It's not fair to the veteran that Justin Trudeau said was asking more than we could give. And it's not fair to people who are seeing this unsafe journey into Canada as something that's positive. So look, at this point in time, you can see that by those answers, Justin Trudeau's done nothing over the summer to address the illegal border crossing crisis. But I'm going to continue to push our plan and our solution here in Ottawa in the House of Commons. And actually, I'm late for debate. I've got to head down there. But certainly I'll keep posting my questions, my efforts in committee, and all of the parliamentary work that I'm doing here to force the government into a solution to this channel. Working hard for you in here in Ottawa. Have a great day.